What's up? Welcome to my channel. My name's Bridger Frederick, and yeah, this is it. This is my place of sharing random shit I think about. But today, pretty hefty topic to tackle on my drive to work: proof that there is a God. But I was just thinking about it this morning, and first of all, word God carries a lot of baggage because of organizations who co-opted the word and the idea in order to accumulate power. So just insert whatever you want for God. Universe, source, the one being, something, some energy that permeates everything, an intelligent energy that, is creating all, past, present, and future. And so I don't think it's something you can intellectually prove necessarily, or uh, intellectually know even at all. There's times where I intellectually know it, and that's really nice, but it is much more intense and real. It's only real if you can feel it. And feeling it's a skill that you can learn how to do, but I learned first through just pure chance. I'm going to share with you 3 times in my life where I felt it, felt whatever it is that creates everything, for sure. In my own mind, body, whatever, my life. And the first time, I was actually probably about 19 years old. I just dropped out of university to start a construction company, or like basically just be a subcontractor for a larger construction company. But anyways, my friend and I moved up to Spokane, Washington, and they had just legalized marijuana. And so we put an ad on Craigslist, and a bunch of people basically like saying we wanted to buy some weed, and basically a ton of people responded to us, and we ended up going and getting like a half ounce of Northern Lights for like $70 from some guy, which is crazy. Back then that was ridiculously, impossibly cheap, and it was awesome. Anyways, we ended up smoking a couple bong bowls of that, and I had this ungodly panic attack. I mean, just that was an interesting choice of words, but for the topic of the video. But this insane panic attack. I mean, my heartbeat was like 170 beats a minute. It felt like I was going to die, and I just had all of this like overwhelming honesty and clarity and fear, and it was horrific. It was horrifying, and I just panicked, and I put on running shoes and gym shorts, and I went out the door, and I just started sprinting as fast as I could, just trying to run away, escape from whatever this was. I saw all my addictive behaviors and negative behaviors and my secrecy and my everything so clearly, and it was terrifying. And I just wanted to end. I just started running as hard as a human being can run. I mean, a dead sprint. And I just ran and ran and ran for what felt like 30, 45 minutes, an hour. I have no idea how long it actually was, but I was running down this sidewalk, like lit by street lamps. There was neighborhoods on either side, and like headed up into like, this mountainous forested area in Spokane. And I was so scared. I was so confused about life, and I was just alone and didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I started just begging, like, please, if there's anything out there, show me that it's real. Show me there's a purpose. Show me there's something. And I was just begging for, proof that there was something out there, that it wasn't just all for nothing and we're just going to die and go to blackness. That kind of existential fear that we can get as human beings. And I was in a dead sprint, and it was like I got hit by lightning. My whole body went completely like bored, stiff straight. I just went dead straight, like arms down by the side, and started flying through the air. And I landed back first on the concrete, and was just looking up at this beautiful night sky, and everything in my head just went dead silent. I mean, for the first time ever, I believe, I had complete and total just serene bliss and silence. And I was looking up at space and stars, and I just felt infinitesimally small. And I realized all of the things I was worried about didn't matter at all in the big scheme of things, and then I was free, and I just got flooded with this intense, overwhelming, like, love, just warmth and love that I never knew existed, that I never felt before, unprovoked by thought. I begged for it, and then hit by lightning, and I'm laying on the ground in silence, looking up at the stars, and then it was just permeated with unfathomable amounts of love. And I was like, okay, something's real. Like, I don't know what. I'm not going to question it, but there is, a God or something intelligent out there that can interact, hear us, has created us, and something is happening. And it brought me an incredible amount of peace. I still, it wasn't like a fucking flick switched in my head or anything, as far as, just, I didn't just flip on, bliss all the time. But I immediately stopped, smoking weed, drinking everything. I went completely stone cold sober, probably for the first time in a long time. At that point, I was 19, and I've been using drugs and alcohol heavily since like 13 years old. But I went stone cold sober for 9 months, and yeah, it was awesome. But anyways, the next time, so that was the first time where I was positive, and that stuck with me. I never, I wavered in what I thought it was and how I defined it. All the intellectual stuff went on, but the feeling that there's more to it than I understand stayed with me forever from that point. That was the last time I ever questioned whether or not there was something far beyond my understanding that was intelligently involved in everything. But it changed all the time. But anyways, the next time where I really, felt 100% sure that something was happening, and it's always came to me at really low points in my life, or like at a point where there was a lot of forks in the road, a lot of directions I could have taken. I was really confused. But anyways, I was living in Spain in this riverbed, and basically where I was supposed to be building this like yoga retreat place for a friend of a friend. Anyways, but basically me and two guys were living in this deserted riverbed in the middle of nowhere in the mountains of Spain. And, we spent all day just working on random stuff around to build this future yoga retreat. And then we, spent it was super hot. I think it was summer or almost summer in Spain. Anyways, it was scorching hot in southern Spain. And we would spend the afternoon just sitting, we lived in campers and tents, basically outdoors all the time. You couldn't be in the campers during the day because it was too hot. So we're outdoors just all the time. All we had was this one little shade area, the kitchen. And we were just hanging out in there, just smoking hash and chilling, basically. But anyways, I was reading this Kundalini yoga book, and I was learning about Kundalini yoga a little bit. And I'd only been, reading it for a couple weeks, and I've been doing it in the morning a little bit. Anyways, I was doing this breath work, this Kundalini style breath work. I can't remember exactly what it was, but basically I was sitting in a squatted position and doing this super intense breathing and trying to pull, the Kundalini energy up from the root of my spine up to my head. I was just doing it over and over again. I don't know, I was sitting in that squatted position for like probably 30, 40 minutes. But anyways, I, at like the peak of this energy that I felt like I had built up, I stood up. And most likely because, I'd been in a squatted seated position for so long, and all the blood was probably trapped down in my legs. But as soon as I stood up, I just, boom, passed out, fell, and my entire life flashed before my eyes. I mean, from the moment of conception until that moment, everything flashed before my eyes, and I saw how badly I was hurting myself with smoking tobacco and substances, and also with thoughts and everything. And it was just this massive influx of information. I mean, I literally saw every single moment of my existence from like the point of I was born until this moment when I was probably at this time like 23, 24, probably about 24 when I was living in Spain, I think. And it was wild. And I woke up and everyone was like around, everyone that I was with was like around me, like super concerned. My face was in a dog bowl. I'd passed out and my face had landed in a dog bowl. And I was just like, what the fuck? How long was I out for? And they were like 10 seconds maybe. And that did not seem humanly possible to me at all. I was super, super shook up from it. I was like, for days afterwards, I had like a mild PTSD of like, what in the actual fuck was that? And it just made me, I mean, it was just so intense and quick and fast. I just knew, that it was some sort of gift. And I just started to see, I'd been off track and I got back on the right track again, or mostly the right track. But anyways, that was a experience where I don't know what it was about it. I'd had way more intense, experiences and stuff on, especially using psychedelics and just over the course of years of traveling and meditating and like the Namib desert and like complete silence with the ringing silence, no bugs, no plants for as far as I can see, just in like a complete Martian landscape. Had some pretty intense experiences, but nothing like this. This was something else completely, and it, really felt like a message, like someone was reaching into my brain and whispering something to me. And so, again, the feeling stuck for quite a while. And then the most significant of all of these events, by and far, was 3 days before I got paralyzed. And you can hear the whole story in more detail in this video up here. I'll put a tag to, I think it's my most popular video on the channel. But anyways, 3 days before I was paralyzed, I ate a weed gummy and had this massive, massive panic attack. So similar thing between all three of these experiences. For whatever reason, marijuana was involved. Don't know what that means. Don't know why. I don't even use marijuana anymore. Probably largely because of these experiences. It like gives me a panic sensation. Now, I will every now and then, especially if I'm at a concert or music. It doesn't matter. But anyways, the point is, I ate this small amount of weed edible, and I just had this massive panic attack. Again, just the most intense panic attack I've ever had. And I saw everything that I needed to do so clearly and so intensely. And it was like, no choice, but you have no choice in the matter. This is your path. This is what you have to do. You're here to do creative work and help people and share these things and tell creative stories. Like it was so clear that I was on the wrong trajectory, and that I had been, my brain had been co-opted by, my brain and heart had been co-opted by greed and fear and lust and all of these other things. And it was intense. And I went on this run again. And basically I realized exactly what I needed to do. Well, 3 days later, I had, this intense morning, and I felt powerless, and I just sealed in my heart in stone that I was not going to listen to that premonition, that voice, that whatever it was, and I was going to become a billionaire and acquire untold amounts of land, and there was nothing in the world that was going to stop me, and I knew how I was going to do it and what it was going to take, and nothing could have ever stopped me. I could have failed, but I wouldn't have diverted from this path. And then, kind of 8, 10, 12 hours, whatever it was, a short time after sealing that in stone in my heart, beyond a shadow of doubt, I, was laying in my pickup with my feet over the top of the dashboard, feeling my body, wondering if I was cut in half or not, because I was so like my whole lower half of my body was stretched up and onto this dash, and I was still sitting in this seat. And it was just like God or the universe was laughing. I mean, it was like the funniest joke I'd ever heard. I laughed. It was so funny because it was just like, you stupid bastard. I told you this was going to happen. I showed you the exact thing that you needed to do to prevent this from happening. And then you sealed in stone you weren't going to do it, and nothing could stop you. So I had to do the one thing that would stop you. And it was like, I was no fear in that moment. I couldn't believe that it was happening, but it was just like clear as day that, this had happened because of that conviction, because of that greed, because of that fear. I mean, right when it happened, I'm sitting in the car, the people, that witnessed the accident at the intersection hadn't even ran up to the car yet. I mean, this is moments after. I don't know if Kelsey's alive or not. I don't know if I'm going to live. I literally think that I'm cut in half at this point. And I'm just like chuckling, like, holy shit, that's crazy. Like, God is fucking real. Damn it, I should have listened. This is going to be shitty for the next while. I wish that I had learned the easy way. So that's it. That's my 3 proofs that irrefutable feelings and moments in my life where I just knew there was an intelligent being. I don't even know if being's the right word. Intelligent, permeating energy throughout the universe that we're part of. And I've had other experiences where I knew this, where I was intellectually and somewhat physically experiencing it. But these 3 events in particular were the ones that, when I recall back to them, I get the whole feeling in my body of knowing beyond any shadow of a doubt, feeling beyond any shadow of doubt that I'm some sort of extension of this thing, and that I can interact with it and look to it for guidance and everything. I just think it's a critical thing that we're missing as a society now. I think it is, the thing that is causing so much fear and pain and just unease amongst everyone, unease and dis-ease amongst the population. I think people are, I can't even imagine how you would live life, or especially, I don't know how you could ever get through, a traumatic injury like I've been through, a spinal cord injury, without the knowing that it's real, without that feeling of source, and that, it's not, you're not on your own, you're not alone. And that you have, not only are you not alone, but the entire universe is created and conspiring to make you feel not alone, and make you feel happy, and make you feel bliss and everything. And it took me, I didn't just have these experiences and then suddenly, live that and know it, but it was these experiences and hundreds of hours of practice and, research, and learning thousands of hours of work, wanting to, recapture this feeling and have purpose and have true understanding. And it was, moments like these 3 moments and many other moments like these that I was able to use as the foundation to build upon. And I just think that, I don't know. For me, I only got there through pure desperation, absolute bottom of the pit, over and over again. I don't know how many life rock bottoms I'm going to have, but at this point it's fucking thousands. I mean, I have no idea how many times I've hit rock bottom, but it's a lot. I am the slowest learner. I cannot learn any lesson by just hearing it. I have to, experience it, and I have to learn every single thing in the hardest way, basically possible for me. I can't just believe anything without experiencing it myself. And I think that goes on to basically the emotional set point that I was living in. I was living in so much shame, fear, and guilt that I couldn't, all feeling and knowing comes from being in a higher frequency. So I was just so set at a low frequency that I couldn't. And that's the problem. I think there's so much stuff keeping us at a low frequency, not only generational and individual and societal trauma and fear of judgment and all of the remnants of the religious problems, the church related problems. Religion's beautiful, like Christianity and everything is amazing. I can't remember who said it, but it's not Christianity I have a problem with, it's Christians. And it's such a good, it's so true that there's, that, but the point is these churches and religion or religious structures and stuff basically used religion to keep people in a state of shame and guilt and fear, because that's where they're easy to be controlled, and anger. And that's what the media has learned. The media and politicians and people in power, giant corporations, have learned that if they can keep us as a whole, the collective us, the vast majority, in a low frequency, in a state of shame, fear, guilt, anger, sadness, resentment, whatever it is, if they can keep you in that low frequency, then it's so easy to control you. And it's done through, all of the toxins in our food and through the trash media that we consume, all of the advertisements and the news and the and also the alcohol and the drugs and the porn and all of the scrolling endlessly, just constantly turning down our vibration over and over again. And then in that low frequency, you become so susceptible to other low frequency ideas, and it's just really, really easy to just guide you to wherever they want you. I mean, for the most part, they just want you to be clicking buy now, purchase now. And that's the whole, everything in our culture right now, our society, is just all of these, all of the smartest people in the world, even if they're in like the health and wellness space or something, everyone is just learning how to most efficiently pull people in and steer them towards their buy now button, whether it's the book that they're writing, or even if it's about spirituality and everything is this like kind of manipulation and that just keeps people at a low frequency. It just does. And yeah, so that's thoughts for the day. If you're a nihilist and you believe that there is nothing else out there, and that that you're just chemical accident and everything, I just challenge you to just take the idea and just take the hypothesis that isn't true, to the opposite of that you were created by something and that you have access to it, and that, we all are one. Take that hypothesis and just live it for a little while, just feel it, try to feel it and believe that it's true, and just live as though it's true for 2 days, 3 days. Just test the hypothesis for yourself, because I'm the biggest skeptic ever. Like, I really am. I have wavered back and forth on this, and I, the only reason I was able to take it on completely is because of like these really, really fucking intense experiences that only were brought about through immeasurable, never-ending, constant suffering for decades before I reached a point of surrender and hopelessness and begging to be able to feel this. And I don't think I hope, I don't know. I think maybe you do have to get there. I'm not sure, but I think you can kind of force yourself to get there sooner. If you get desperate enough to just extricate yourself from whatever life or situation you're in, um, you know, you can create the desperation by just not accepting your life for how it is. Not letting yourself be comfortable being mediocre, being, less than you could be. Not letting yourself be, fuck me. Let yourself be comfortable, doing something that isn't your maximum expression of who you are. So, anyways, that's proof that God exists in 26 minutes on my drive to work. Hopefully that was a little bit of thought provocation for you today. Lots of love. I hope that this video finds you extremely well, or on your way to being well, because it's all so much closer than you think. You just have to reach out, fucking take a hold of it, and grab it. It's yours to be had. The world wants you to be full of bliss. It loves you. You're cared for infinitely, forever, and you're forgiven for everything that's ever happened to you and everything that you ever will do. And that's for sure. That it really is. Those are facts. If there's any facts on earth, I believe that those things I just said are definitively facts. They're just really hard ones to keep hold of, to keep knowing, and to believe when you're at rock bottom, or almost to rock bottom. When you're at very rock bottom, they become easier to believe. But when you're like, just above rock bottom, it's hard to believe. But anyways, that's it. Lots of love. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.